The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
We have Mike from Chicago on the line, and he has a question about digestion.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, guys. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
First of all, I just wanted to say that I love the show. I think it's great programming, and I'm very much of a like mind when it comes to, taking control of your own health and certainly doing your own research.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico, DeHaan, and Paige, Clarke.
Welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle. I'm Nico, DeHaan. This is Paige, Clarke.
Hello, everyone.
Happy Friday, everybody. It's a beautiful day here in downtown Clearwater. It's about 70 degrees, kind of cloudy, but pretty nice.
Glad to be here.
Yep. I got a letter. Before that, it's 877-927-6648. And please take time to look at our newsletters and pick up Health Signals newsletter so you can be up on the latest thing that we're talking about on the show and really improve your health and do some your own research on how to get primal.
New care is self-care, guys, and there's so much information, and it can really make a change in your life for the better.
Yeah. So I got a couple of emails from Ethan Green, one of our listeners, and he often sends me good material.
He sure does.
He just asked me on my thoughts on oil pulling benefits. There's this article, Oil Pulling Benefits Outweigh Any Inconvenience. And it's a pretty good article. Let me see, I think I've got it up there.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is that this, again, is an ancient act of health and hygiene.
Yeah, this has been around for a couple hundred years.
Absolutely. Thousands, probably.
Well, maybe so, because they have some reference to it in some of the Dead Sea Scrolls even.
Mm-hmm.
But what's interesting about it, what we're doing with this is using healthy oils.
Correct.
The guy who invented it in Ukraine talked about sesame oil, but of course I think where he was, there wasn't any coconuts around. So a lot of people these days are using coconut oil. Mm-hmm. My wife uses safflower oil. I think any organic oil will do it because it's a cleansing oil. We know we use that for cleaning machinery.
It's really the best thing to cleanse your skin.
Yes,
and
of course.
Many of these oils, as coconut oil, they have antibacterial and antimicrobial, antifungal,
right,
particularly coconut oil,
right,
and antiviral properties.
Yeah.
And so using this, but the other thing I want you to be aware of that I think is one of the reasons sesame was chosen is it's high in natural vitamin E.
Yes. And it doesn't get absorbed.
Yes.
Yes. And I use, I like sesame. I've always been a friend of sesame oil ever since I was into macrobiotic cooking, and I have used it for cooking quite a bit. And I like the taste of it, too. But think of the mouth as a centerpiece for cleansing because we have so many receptors in our mouth. So the blood is really close to the skin in your mouth. So when you use the oil, what happens is the oil starts to turn white and starts to absorb the toxins that are in your blood and actually removes them and takes them out of the body. So it's a really nice, easy way. So it takes about 15 up to 20 minutes, anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes, I would say, swishing a spoonful of oil in your mouth and then spitting it out.
Correct.
And then washing out your mouth with some water. Best to do it on an empty stomach. I do it in the morning. I know you do it in the evening, I think, Paige.
Yeah, well, I do it whenever I can.
Yeah,
and
okay.
one of the times I do it is when I'm taking a bath. Because, I'm in there and I just relax and do it. I really am encouraging people to understand the power of this to not only keep your gums healthy, but you will also notice that your teeth will get whiter.
Yes. I've noticed that too. My gums definitely got healthier when I started this. I've been doing this for about 6 years, I would say. So it's quite a while, and every morning it's kind of like a religious thing with me. I wake up, I go to the bathroom, then I do the oil pulling. I sit in this, I've got this nice chair, watch a little weather report, and the chair beeps after 15 minutes, a little massage chair. And so my 15 minutes is done, I spit it out, and then I start my regular shaving and other stuff.
It's a healthy ritual. It's a healthy remedy.
Yeah, so I highly recommend that people try it and experiment with the type of oil that you want. Sesame is good. Coconut oil works really good. Safflower oil works good. I would imagine that any oil that you like the taste of, like olive oil, would work really well.
And there's
also
a lot of nice little things you can do to enhance that oil. Sometimes people will put a drop of neem oil. Neem is extremely beneficial for healthy teeth and gums.
Definitely. It's used in many toothpastes.
Yeah. And so as an aromatherapist, we do that. and when we're checking for health in the mouth. I'm glad that we brought this up today, Nico.
Well, we've had it on the show several times. But,
but I mentioned to you that I'm going to want to have a guest on here, a local biological dentist.
Yes, you were telling me about
it. You know, there's one thing to be a holistic dentist or a natural dentist, but to be what I consider a biological dentist. You've heard me say a million times that the body is often subject to many stealth infections.
Right. They're hidden away.
Hidden infections. Right. And the body is powerful once identified to recover from these infections. But one thing that the body has a tough time ever overcoming is a dental infection. And we're going to have Dr. Ray Bem in. He's going to give us some tips. Next couple of weeks, we're going to have that scheduled.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of tied into what we were talking about, that there's so many receptors in the mouth. And when the infection starts there, really, you're opening up a can of worms in a sense that the toxins are going to get in your body.
Exactly. Because we have a caller.
Oh, okay, great.
We don't have the thing up. Caller, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm here. My name is Gary.
Hi, Gary. How are you?
Very good, very good. One question regarding coconut oil. I want to know what's the difference between the coconut oil that is sold in Costco with large quantity, let's say 56 ounces, for let's say $16, which is if you compare that with a smaller dosage, not dosage, quantity at the other health stores, which is about with let's say 10-12 ounces for $15 or $18, and both of them are organic. Both of them they have that USDA a logo on it. Why there is so much gap between the price?
Well, one of the things with some large companies, of course, you're getting them to buy a lot of it in bulk in large quantities, and they get a big break on that, where the small store owner, a small health food store that's not part of a chain, doesn't have that same luxury of carrying. You know, it's the same thing if you buy 24 bottles of something on Amazon. It's going to be a lot cheaper for you to do that than if you buy just one bottle and send it to you. You got the freight to worry about and everything like that. So it's kind of the same thing. What I would look for in your coconut oil, first of all, that it has to be organic, that it's extra virgin, and that it's cold pressed.
Correct. Centrifugal type of centrifugal.
Yeah.
Separation is really beneficial too. But it looks like you looked for that. I personally very rarely shop at the big box stores. I just don't. Right. But it sounds like you may have found a good source. Taste it, try it, and those are the important features you want to have in that oil.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people ask me, they want to use coconut oil not just for oil pulling, but they want to use it for cooking, and this might be helpful to you as well, Gary. There is also an expeller pressed coconut oil that people use for cooking. Literally, if you smell it, you would never even know it's coconut oil.
I don't cook at all.
Oh.
I don't eat meat at all.
Right.
I'm almost 70, and I jog about hour and a half every day. And every other day I do weightlifting and so on. I stopped eating meat about 35 years ago, and I stopped cooking 30 years ago.
Okay.
The only thing that I cook is steamed rice, but rather than that, the rest, everything is either I sprout it, I eat it, or it's going to be raw.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Yeah. Now, regarding sunflower oil, it has the same nutrition as a coconut oil, or which one do you prefer, sunflower oil or coconut oil?
Well, as used for oil pulling, you mean?
Just using for salad, not cooking
for salads?
at all. Yeah.
I would say your fruit oils for salads are probably some of the best things, but just seed oils work too. I like to mix my seed oils with fruit oils. So olive oil is great to use.
Macadamia nut oil has a nice profile.
The nut oils, the seed oils are also good. The only thing I wouldn't use, of course, is your industrial oils from vegetable oils. Those are the only things I wouldn't recommend.
All right. How about avocado oil?
That's a fruit oil, and that's good. And the key thing, too, Gary, is to make sure that your oils, if you go into a store and you're going to pick an oil, buy the one in the darkest glass.
Yeah.
Because oils oxidize, right. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, if it's in a non-color, I don't buy it.
Right. Very good.
First, it has to be in glass, not in plastic, and second, it has to be colored glass. Yeah.
Well, you've been at this a long time, Garo. I know we've talked several times, and it seems like you know what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you so much for listening to me. I appreciate it.
And
welcome.
thanks for your input, and call us again, Gary.
Sure, anytime.
It's Garo.
Thank you.
Oh, Garo? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's called before, and he's one of the vegetarians that calls into the show, and he's been very successful at what he's been doing, so I really applaud him. And
well, I think that we want to reestablish that fact. This is called living a primal lifestyle, and to me, that means getting back to real food.
Yeah.
And it's although we have an idea that we may need to look at animal sources for some of our nutrients, I am concerned with some of my vegetarian and vegan clients that they don't.
A person like Garo really is doing it right. He's eating the sprouts. He knows what he's doing with the oils. He adds that into it. It's the people who are confused. I was talking to somebody the other day, and we've got a couple of minutes so I can cover this. We were talking about the natto. We were talking about all these sour products that we have, and people have for years saying, well, soybeans are so good for you. Well, the way they used soybeans years ago, and the way they use a lot of these souring and fermenting techniques was not for that particular food. It was to grow bacteria so we can digest things that we're not getting.
Exactly. It's about proper preparation.
Yeah, without proper preparation. So the Japanese were not looking at soybeans as, boy, this is a great food. They're saying, we can use soybeans so we can grow this bacteria and take it and not damage our bodies.
And I want people to understand.
And same with sauerkraut.
Exactly. That those of us here, I personally eat a lot of vegetables and fermented foods and raw foods and sprouts. I personally do. It's just when I do choose an animal product, I'm looking for an animal product that is in a very small portion. The other night I had these little bison. Delicious, delicious. And but it was a small amount. Yep. And I want people to understand that there are many of us. I'm going to tell you something. I know that I'm one of the people, and we're going to talk more about it, but there's a condition, a genetic condition that results many times in birth defects and a susceptibility to cancer, diabetes, cancer, and that's called the MTHFR gene defect. I know that I have it. Now I've been tested and I know. But my youngest child, who I love and adore, I love all my children, was born with a complete unilateral cleft lip and palate. And so I am very impassioned about having people understand that we do need B12 and folate, and the best sources of those vitamins in the fully reduced form is in animal foods.
No doubt about that.
So I always want to encourage people that are eliminating animal foods, because that is where you get these, to look to get a live source B vitamin and fully reduced B and folate. If you have any questions about that, call me. It can make a huge difference in your health.
Yep.
So we're going to a break.
Yep.
We'll be back.
877-927-6648. Take time to pick up my Health Signals newsletter.
And
Paige and I will be right back. And we've got a lot of things to talk about this afternoon. So
we always do.
Look forward to it. Yes, we do. We'll be right back, folks.
You've heard Nico DeHaan as co-host of Living a Primal Lifestyle, which airs every Friday at noon Eastern Time on TFNN, and would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today.
Wouldn't it be great if you could get a red light, green light indicator that gives you signals on 25 different future contracts? Now you can with Taz Signal Box. This red light, green light market profile system dynamically updates 24 hours a day and provides you with important trend and trade signals on 9 different commodities, 9 different indices, and 8 different currencies. Right now, you can receive a free 2-week trial to Taz Signal Box. For all the details and to find out how the Signal Box works, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Andy Hecht will be hosting his first paid workshop on TFNN, the Techno-Mental Trading Method, which is taking place Friday, March 28th from noon till 3:30 Eastern Time. Relying on his decades of experience as a professional commodities trader for some of the largest and most well-respected firms in the business, Andy will be teaching for 3 full hours discussing the application of the technomentals he uses when trading commodities, futures, inter and intra-commodity spreads, commodity-related stocks, ETFs and ETNs, and related options, and much more. You'll receive an added bonus of a quick reference guide that Andy has put together for everyone that attends that breaks down the U.S. traded commodity-based ETF and ETN products available to you as a trader. The Techno-Mental Trading Method, Friday, March 28th from noon till 3:30 Eastern Time. This workshop will be archived so that if you can't attend live, you can view it whenever you'd like on demand for 30 days. For all the details and to reserve your spot today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. You take a hands-on approach to managing your investments, and whether you're bullish or bearish on Chinese stocks, the ETFs from Direction Shares are there to help you magnify your perspective. Bull ETFs for a rising market and bear ETFs for a falling market. Direction Shares gives you the tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor, Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free, for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And welcome back, you primal living lovers. That's what we are too. And we're having some fun in the chat room, and we've got some people that are enjoying their tiger brew and their coconut schnapps.
Right.
So anyways, hey, right before we went to the break, we had a caller, and he is a listener and was sharing his healthy lifestyle, which he does not eat animal foods or meat. And there's a lot of people that's the case.
Yes.
And I want to talk, and we have a short segment here, but we might come back and address it on the next segment. I want people to understand that as a primal lifestyle, we want you to eat real foods. And we do think there are some really powerful fat-soluble nutrients and some other very valuable nutrients, primarily, as I mentioned before the break, the activated Bs and folate that are absolutely critical to our health, longevity, and fertility and proper reproduction.
Mm-hmm. And where do we get these from?
And we get these from animal foods. And so people that are not eating certain animal foods, I really, it's like a must for my coaching clients that they be on a fully reduced B complex and folate. And folks, most of the stuff that people are buying in the stores that are B vitamins are not active forms. And it can be quite dangerous to your health and increase your probability of getting high homeocysteine, heart disease, neurotransmitter imbalances if you take a synthetic vitamin that has, for example, folic acid in it, which is the synthetic coal tar derivative, and you cannot break it down. So we will talk more about that, but when we had our caller, I wanted to make a point about B vitamins and that the primary sources, we've known the benefits of the B vitamins, particularly B12, but we've been told recently, like even on the Dr. Oz show, which Joel Furman on there this week, made some comments about, proteins and meats. But we've known that the best place to get these very powerful B vitamin families is from meat. But we've been told that protein and meat is the enemy. And it's just not true. It's, again, the right sources. And we spend a lot of time encouraging you to find those resources locally in your community. Buy local, find your farmer. Or if not, we're going to help you find resources that you can order from.
Of course, some of these things that are really essential that you can only get from meat is also found in certain foods that have been soured and fermented.
Right, because of the probiotics generate the bees.
Exactly. It's all those little bacteria that are eating all these toxic materials and then pooping out, and the poop actually is the healthy stuff that have these vitamins in it.
That's the power of the soured and fermented foods.
So you can see why ancient cultures like the Indian culture, the Chinese culture, Japanese cultures,
the Korean with the kimchi.
Koreans, they have run out of, there was not a lot of wild animals accessible to the major populations. They developed these methods. And I think if you're going to be a vegetarian, like Garrow is, you're going to discover that you need some of these types of products to help you along the way.
Fermented foods, exactly. And for extra insurance, make sure you're taking an active
So this is
form.
why the primal and the vegetarians can kind of meet in the center, because they're really after the same thing. They're just going about it differently.
Right.
I think if you've got a philosophy that you don't want to hurt animals, then maybe you're barking up the wrong tree as far as being a vegetarian, because when you're using large crops like the wheat and things that people eat, then you're killing way more animals just by putting that big field of one thing together.
That's a real good point. And I think the thing is that I really encourage people to do is you have to do what's in your heart and what resonates with you.
So there's many paths to finding your health, I think, too.
Yeah, so, we'll share more tips on how to make sure you're getting those nutrients that you don't get in foods. But real quick, can we show our little featured Light with Lucia recipe?
We had Lucia on while I was gone at the Pan Ams, and what a doll she was. And she's sending us a recipe now and then, and this is a really nice one. It looks really good. It's creamy tomato spaghetti squash pasta. Of course, the pasta is not made out of normal pasta, and you have the ingredients here. Medium spaghetti squash, some coconut milk.
Fat coconut milk and the tomato sauce of your favorite organic brand. And she gives you great instructions, cooking time, and you can find this recipe by visiting her website, lightwithlucia.com.
L-I-T-E with Lucia. Lucia spelled L-U-C-I-A. So you can find it on there. And what I'll do is I'll link this later on to my website, which is Living a Primal Lifestyle.
I think she's going to help us with feeding us some great recipes, because I really like she customizes them and really puts them together in a nice format. I loved having her on.
In fact, I had one of my customers give her a call and ask for prices and stuff, so we'll see where that goes. But
she's part of our Primal Lifestyle team.
I think so. So
okay.
Very good. Go to her site and check out the materials there, and we'll have her back as a guest for sure. Meanwhile, of course, you can get my newsletter by going to newsletters on the TFNN site here, and where is it? There it is, right there. And it's only $10 a month. You get 2 issues a month for those $10 on the first and third Friday of every month. Remember, the phone number here is 877-927-6648. Give Paige and I a call and ask us some questions, or just join the conversation. We'll be right back, folks.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's trading newsletter.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the Forex market, and more. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 full weeks. That's an $85 value. Yours free when you register right now.
Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind.
And get the edge you've been looking for.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a mobile connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors. This segment is brought to you by BackTech Environmental. For more information, just click the BackTech banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the show, folks. Nico and Paige here on Living a Primal Lifestyle, and we've been talking about foods that necessarily weren't used as a staple, but were used kind of as a breeding ground for good bacteria so we could use it. And I was going through some different papers, and Mark Sesson had this article on resistant starch.
And this is very interesting, and don't consider myself an expert on this resistant starch, but here we're looking at how some foods that are in this category of resistant starch may in fact be good for our gut health.
Yeah.
So
and
let's give them a little summary.
Yeah, there's 4 types. The RS type 1 of resistant starch is starch bound by indigestible plant cell walls, commonly found in like beans, grains,
and seeds.
Then type 2 is intrinsically indigestible in the raw state due to its high content.
Of amylose, right.
Yeah, so it's kind of found in potatoes, bananas, plantains, things like that.
And think about that, guys. The amylase is the digestive enzyme that we produce in our mouth. So the importance of chewing and breaking down our food. So this has got a food that's high amylose. You really need a lot of amylase in order to break it down.
Exactly, very hard, and that's why you have to cook the crap out of things like potatoes and
bananas. You know, when they're green, you need them to be ripe.
Right. Type 3 is retrograde starch. When some starches have been cooked, cooled, and refrigerated or frozen, it changes the structure and makes it more resistant to digestion.
Interesting. So your cooked rice, leftover cooked rice, grains, beans, and potatoes fall into this category.
Right.
And then the final one is industrial resistant starch. It doesn't occur naturally. It's been chemically modified, and this is in some of those high corn resistant starch.
Yeah. So
what's the end result?
Well, the end result is that there's many benefits, and very similar to what we do in the fermenting and the souring of these materials. They produce the bacteria that helps you absorb foods better. It helps digest them better. It helps takes the toxins out of them and carry them out of your body. So there's a lot of great benefits to this stuff.
Well, it says the most reliable way to get lots of resistant starch fast is with raw potato starch. That's interesting because I remember when I was in college and, you're living on, less expensive food.
Yeah.
I would cook up potatoes. I would saute them. But I was always loved to sprinkle salt and eat a raw potato. But they're talking about that's a source to get it. But the ultimate thing is are we providing good bacteria for the gut? We're providing food for the bacteria?
Right.
Yeah, I have a product that I use that's, that I call it a gut. It's a fibrous, it's called galactin. And it's a food for the good bacteria.
Okay.
And boy, it's good stuff. So yeah, I think this is a good way of looking at why some of these things may be good and may actually help with insulin sensitivity and metabolic syndrome.
Yeah, and the other thing you need to look at, of course, if we're looking at a whole meal, then again we're looking at the basis of what we call primal diet is some really healthy animal protein. With the natural fat attached to it, and then maybe even adding a little bit more fat for fuel, because the protein really is the building blocks of keeping your muscles and yourself healthy. The fuel is the fat. Now, because of the problems with digesting certain things, now we need a little bit of the sour products to help us get that good bacteria, so these things are working.
And we got to make sure we've got some food that gives those bacteria
food itself.
Nutrition.
Yeah, nutrition.
Yeah, feeding it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it kind of makes sense. And then if you're eating the greens and stuff like that, one of the guys in the chat room is asking, do you recommend Metamucil or some other form of fiber?
Now,
I used to think that way, but now I'm thinking that the only time you need some of this indigestible stuff, insoluble stuff, is for the fermenting process, not as a bulk to create more fiber, because more fiber, all you're doing is adding more undigestible food
and
for your body to work.
For your body to have to figure out if it's good, push it through. And
Yeah.
A great resource from Jay in New Jersey, take a look at the website fibermenace.com.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and gutsense.org. If any of you all recall, I talked about that Russian researcher who's written those 2 books. He's got a squatting platform, thinks that the fiber diet, this undigestible fiber,
it's not that great.
It's not that great for us, and actually has created a lot of the chronic constipation and so forth.
Yeah,
that we see.
You've got to look at undigestible stuff. Think of like little twigs moving through your bowel system. It kind of scrapes things, but is that good? It might be doing damage.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm thinking too. So I'm thinking that this type of product that is undigestible but fermenting in there, I think it's going to be good. If you're going to use any kind of fiber, I would say, and he wants to know what that website is again.
Okay, Gut Sense, like have good sense in your mind, but gutsense.org and fibermenace.com or org.
Okay.
Same guy.
Yeah.
So and take a look at that. And, at a point where you're having maybe a chronic constipation, Metamucil, psyllium husk. I mean, there's been a lot of people
and
using
that's all it
that.
is psyllium.
Yes, just psyllium fiber, and there can be times for that. But I much prefer what Ray Peat recommends for bowel regularity, which is Casa Sagrada bark, aged bark, formulas that have that in it. But better yet, take a look at this guy's research, and you know what? If you could, let us know what you think about that, because that's kind of the way I'm moving. I'm not. But this is the key point.
Then what he's using basically is an herb to stimulate the natural processes of the body. Pete.
Ray Peat talks about Casa Sagrada.
Right.
But Casa Sagrada has evidence-based research.
Yeah, but you're not using that as a
bulking agent.
No,
correct.
You're using it as an herb to help the natural processes that go through.
There's some real questions on that website about those 2 websites I just shared with you that give us some ideas to take pause and review. Exactly, since we've introduced this fiber supplementation, all of a sudden we've got this high incidence of colon cancer, and everyone's running around doing this kind of a thing. I really liked that article, and I'm going to get myself a little more up to speed on using those resistant starches as a So how does that work in, in the paleo world? Those are not foods that normally, some of those foods...
No, but if you use them in the right way, it's kind of like taking soybeans, which is not part of our diet, and then aging them in salt water in a brine for 8 years, and now you have the bacteria in there eating it, and you're not eating the soybean so much anymore, you're eating the bacteria and the soybean is kind of along for the ride. It's already detoxed because the bacteria has got rid of those toxins.
Well, you know that in my terrific tonic that I have my clients drink, it's all fermented beverages, so you're actually getting a dose of, Yeah,
so it's a misnomer to say we're eating starch, we're eating soybeans. We're eating the bacteria that's eating these things.
And change them into a whole different food.
Exactly.
So you got my article
really
there.
important.
We're really about seasonal.
Yes.
And this article,
spring.
I just really love this. Yeah. And we're really kind of talking a little bit about 10 detoxifying foods for spring and how we want to start thinking about our natural chronobiology and being in tune with that and being mindful of helping our body do what it was designed to do.
Yeah, and really these are foods that you would think if you planted them the first thing, they're going to be available in late spring.
Exactly.
And that's and what we're talking about is things like beets. A real good one.
Beat the disease. And
you have all these great sayings.
Well, yeah, that's how I get people to remember things.
Yeah.
Beets beat the disease. And, trimethylglycine, which is HCl,
hydrochloric acid.
The forms that we used is actually, the one that I use is derived from beets.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can go ahead and start that because I'm trying to find my article.
The thing I like about beets is that it's got that really red color in there. And, of course, that if you look at the organs that are really red, then you kind of connect with that. So you're talking about kidneys, you're talking about liver.
Exactly.
Really detoxifying, very good things. Also, celery is another one. And if you ever smelled celery, you can almost smell the detoxification in there. It's a really strong aroma to it that opens things up.
Ancient Chinese medicine says if you have blood pressure problems, eat 6 stalks celery a day.
Oh.
Because why? It's loaded with what? Sodium. And people go, what are you talking about? It's natural sodium. And we all know that salt is important. It's just we do not need the sodium that we get from
the white salt,
the toxic table salt.
No, definitely not.
Coriander.
And coriander is it's a material that really helps in taking out metals.
It helps to bind to heavy metals and really is good for kidney, overall kidney health and everything. Where is my copy of the article, just by the way?
I don't know, you're in archives. So
well, no, I was just looking there. I was over here now. But that's okay. Okay. All right, go ahead.
Ask and you can find it. Okay, chia seeds. So chia seeds, you never would think detoxification when I think of chia seeds, and a lot of people use them all great in omega-3. But not so bioavailable for us.
I like the soaking of the chia seeds.
There you go.
And if you actually put your chia seeds out one day and you have a bowl, and then if you want to do your smoothie so you can get, because they do have actually one of the better sources of omega-3s from a plant. I do think omega-3s from the sea algae is the best, and also from, krill and that kind of a thing. But soaking them and then adding them to their smoothie, your super smoothie.
Excellent.
Yeah, very good.
Other things are like citruses, especially the peel. The pith.
The white pith. These people that, we were kids and we would peel an orange or a lemon or a lime and we'd say, that white stuff, that stuff, you want to just devour that. And if you want to add your citrus or your little bit of lemon or lime to your smoothies, or anytime you can slice it and then when you eat the piece of fruit, you can bite into that white. The white pith is a sign of something magic there. That's what I learned from my Qigong instructor.
Also, the peels of those things have little...
There's a lot of essential oils in actually the peel.
And, if you go to the native country that most citrus was, you'll find that people use them a lot different than we use them here. They don't eat the fruit as much. They use it more as a garnish. They use it more as adding things to food, but never eating the fruit themselves. They think it's too toxic. So you might eat one wedge, but you're not going to eat the whole fruit. Where here, I remember when I first came down to Florida in the 50s, and you stop at one of these little welcome stations, they give you a little shot, or in the restaurant they give you like a little 5-ounce shot of
That was before we supersized everything.
Yeah, then we supersized it and everybody got diabetes, So a real small amount of this is very toxic and you don't need a lot of it. So I would stay away from the citrus, and except in small quantities.
And with the whole fiber and the pith and that kind of thing.
Exactly.
This next recommendation to add to your spring cleaning, so to speak, of your liver is watercress. I don't know how many of you enjoy watercress, but I really enjoy watercress.
High in vitamin C, of course.
It's just terrific. It really has some great evidence about the nutrition in the watercress that will really help protect you from
things like cancer.
Things like cancer. So it's in season. A lot of people, you'll find it over in your grocery section. It looks like they just pulled it up almost. It looks like a sprout. It really is a sprout of some sort. And I have been lucky enough to replant it, and sometimes get it to regrow, so you can clip it off. And
then of course they just mentioned sprouts, and that's just about any sprout has so much material in there that's good for us. Detoxing qualities, really helps to fight free radicals, has vitamins and minerals in them. They're the bud of the plant. It's the most important part.
Well, the sprout, it tells you the seed in the sprout has all the energy to become a full grown. So what kind, that's the life source energy of the plant.
So the seed holds it in hibernation. A lot of toxins in there. When it opens up the sprout, those toxins leave, letting the
become more available to you.
Exactly.
And I like the next suggestion to add to your spring detox, which is cruciferous vegetables like broccoli. And we'd much rather have you use this broom, in your colon, which is the sulforain and the phytochemicals in broccoli that help you to open up your phase 2 detoxification, make that liver strong, and really helps. The fiber in broccoli will help to stimulate your elimination much more than taking Metamucil or any of those other bulking agents.
And then they have, of course, apples, and the nice thing about apples is that there are many seasons for apples. Different varieties bloom at different times and become fruit at different times. So that's pretty cool. The other thing is that they have the skin has really good antioxidants in it. The pectin is.
As long as you buy apple is one of the one of the dirty dozen. If you must buy an apple, it needs to be organic and not GMO. You want to make sure, and then rinse them off just to be sure. But exactly. I love as a treat. One of my little recipes is to take apples, baked apples with a little grass-fed butter, a little coconut. I put the apples on a simmer in my pan, and I will also take an overripe banana. I don't use a lot of banana for that exact reason. It's kind of a starch, but sometimes I'll take the little banana, and then I'll put like half of the banana in there, and I just sort of steam them. Then at the end, I add my cinnamon and my allspice and a little nutmeg. Remember, those are little anti-parasitic spices. We don't want to add our spices too early. When we overcook our spices, we diffuse some of their.
Add them at the end.
Some of their, add them at the end.
Except for salt. Salt you can cook with.
Right, and add them at the end. But then at the end, if you do like a fermented, like I use that cultured amasi from Beyond Organic, and I have that like a little dessert, and you think you went to heaven.
Wow. And the last thing is algae, and of course there's many different kinds of algae, especially seaweeds and things like that are very alkalizing, have a lot of minerals, iron, and everything in it that are really great for detoxing and helping you really flush your system out for the springtime.
Exactly.
Number here is 877-927-6648. We'll be right back, folks.
Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy. A set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
Up next, the Diagnostics Trading Hour with Daryl Martin here on TFNN.
Never mind.
Welcome back, guys. And, you know, we are happy to report to you that butter has made a 40-year comeback. But if you've been watching our show, you already knew that.
Yes, indeed we did.
And, you know, just to kind of give you some stats, guys, it's hit a 40-year high, and it's resulted in a shift between, U.S. consumers' preference for non-processed foods. Hooray for us.
Yeah, you just have to be careful on where you get your butter. You know, we always talk about the Kerrygold, which is butter from cows that have been mostly grass-fed. And
it's about the right place for your butter, you know.
But, you know, we've been talking about fat content, and ever since I've been on this paleo style diet, I've been upping my fat and feeling better as I up it. And I always wonder, is there a limit here? Because since my competition, I've been eating more. And I've been feeling better. My body is kind of just humming along really nice when I have more fat, and it's just amazing.
Well, it's those fat-soluble nutrition that we talk about. It's the vitamin A and the D and the vitamin E and the K2 and the butter. But before we go over this graph, I want people to really remember that it was between 1920 and 1960 when butter consumption declined over 75% because of the marketing hype that the margarine and the seed oils and the processed, spreads, healthy oil blends, came out. And how's that working for us, guys?
Yeah,
prior to 1920, there was no such thing, basically, of heart disease. The developer of the electrocardiograph was turned away from Harvard University because they said,
What do we need this?
There's no such thing as heart disease. And so remember, butter, especially raw butter from grass-fed cows. We often refer you all to Kerrygold, but better yet, find a local farmer who lets their cows eat grass only. And support the local farmer. Yeah. If not, come to our website, Living a Primal Lifestyle.
Let us help you out. Let's take a look at this graph, which is on Mercola.com, and it shows you that
the countries that eat less saturated fat have more heart disease, and the countries that eat more saturated fats have less heart disease. And, this is the key factor that often is left out. When we look at some of these studies, as was presented, on Dr. Oz and so forth, the whole China study about meat causes diseases. Well, we're leaving out the important thing, and fat is where it's at. And when people eat high-fat diets, they are healthy. Yeah.
When they do these studies on meat, they're really doing it on a lot of processed meats are thrown in there. Also, they really take the fat off of it. So, we really need to do studies on fat, healthy fats, and see where that has, because we don't need a lot of meat. 20% of our diet should be a little bit of the protein, but the rest of it has to be the fat. And carbohydrates are kind of in there to help us detox and do the other things that we've really talked about on this show.
And
very important to understand that, I think.
Notice who has the lowest incidence of heart disease, and it's the country of France. Yeah. And we've all heard about the French paradox, and they keep trying to turn it into, it's because they drink red wine. Guys, it's because they eat fat.
Yes.
They eat fat and they stay healthy.
And if you look at all these countries like Finland and Iceland and Norway and that, they're eating...
And Austria.
And Austria, yeah, one of your favorite places. So these are countries that have very, very good diets, and they also ferment a lot of things. They also use different kinds of cultures. So all this whole thing about eating lots of meat is not what we're at. We're eating modest amounts, low amounts of meat, but we're also using these other great products to ferment and sour and everything like that.
There's another chart, if you could scroll to it below there, that came from the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism, that showed that, diets that are high in fat but low in carbohydrates cause more weight loss than diets that are low in fat. So there you go. Yeah, right there. So, add your healthy fats. You're going to lower your carbs, and you're going to see more weight loss.
It's working like a charm, folks. I'll tell you that. I guess it's the end of the show. So
it is. Wow.
Thanks a lot for sticking around,
flies,
folks.
Guys.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. Have a
great weekend.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.